And that leads us to Forbidden Door,
Yeah.
which I think we can both say the build for Forbidden Door has been much better this year.
Yes.
They really focused on the big two matches, and then they kind of added two more last week, and then they added about 70 more tonight. I it's not that many, but they added a lot tonight. But I think again, I think that they were smart in doing that, because the selling point on this show is those two main events. I think, for the AEW hardcore 140,000 people that buy every show, like, that's enough. You don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Um,
I think if I had a complaint, if any, I mean, look, the build's been great, but it's like the New Japan guys or the people that we've already seen before, kind of a thing.
mm-hmm.
That kind of a issue with it. It's like, okay, here's the pool of guys, and it's the same guys every time. Although we do get Sonata this time as the champ. I mean, it's a good problem to have. Let me temper my comments there so that they don't sound as dismissive as I think they're coming off. You're getting the main champ from New Japan.
Yep.
I you know what? Actually, my issue is I don't think any major title will change. It's a nice one shot in comic book land kind of thing outside of continuity. And if it's for you, great. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I could see it's gonna get the same numbers it gets all the time.
I'm looking at the lineup. I think it's possible that no titles change hands.
Oh yeah, I don't
maybe
think so.
The international, but
no.
I hope not.
No.
But I don't. I think a lot of people think Will Ospreay's going to beat Kenny. I don't think so. MJF.
I think he does by screw job.
You think Will? Nah. Well, I think Kenny wins, and then Will puts up his career at All In.
Oh really?
That's what I think. Yeah, in Wembley. That's how I do it.
Puts up his career.
Yeah.
What's the story with that? Because I'm missing something here.
Well, because he's frustrated they can't beat Kenny.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's that simple. Like, and so he wins this match. He tries everything and he just can't beat him. Okay. I don't think he beat Kenny Omega in Toronto. Like, I think that's silly. But MJF Tanahashi, like, MJF's not losing to Tanahashi. Jack Perry's not beating Sonata. I don't think Willow's beating Tony Storm. So that leaves us with the only other title match is the international title. So far, like, the tag team titles aren't being defended as far as I know. For either company. I mean, I suppose they could add that. They probably will. Yeah. So I think we could actually see. I think it's more likely that we see no titles change hands than that we see one.
Yeah, I agree.
Change hands. So, but there's something else I was going to say about Forbidden Door. I agree. Oh, I know what it was. The word came out earlier today that Punk was going to wrestle a singles match at Forbidden Door, and it wasn't going to be Kenta. And you remember I made a comment on the video show, and then you asked me as soon as we went off the air, what was that about? And I told you, and it was that Kenta. So I said there was going to be an angle with Kenta and Punk, and I don't think Punk wanted to do it. The word comes out today. Oh, no. It was Kenta that didn't want to do the match. Even though Kenta's been on Twitter for 10 years asking for the match. Apparently the match was okay. The match was going to happen, but Kenta said no. And then Punk immediately, oh, that's too bad. I really wanted that match. And, it's like, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Bunch of carnies, all of them.
Oh, yeah. So then word comes out that Punk is going to most likely face Kojima. And we were tossing around ideas in the Discord about, I wonder what angle they're going to use to set up this match between CM Punk and Kojima. Well, the angle was they announced the match. That's it. No angle. Just it's in the Owen tournament, which is fine. I mean,
Twitter has set up an angle because of the Joe and Punk shoot interview where he's talking about Kojima. But other than that,
yeah. I mean, it's literally a first round match of the tournament. So the best thing you can say is that Tony saw the interview and thought it would be a good idea to match these two up in the first round of the tournament.
He is a fan of his shoot interview. So yeah,
there you go. So yeah, so we're going to get Punk's first singles match back on Forbidden Door. So Punk is also wrestling 3 matches in 8 days, which is a choice. Because he's wrestling on Collision. And the other, I thought, news that won't necessarily come up. It might come up in our show review, but we had no Elite tonight. And we did have CM Punk on Dynamite, even though he's a Collision guy, as he
Well,
put it
we
on the
had
show.
the Elite on a promo.
We did, but not in front of the crowd.
No.
Yeah, and that was a good choice, I would say.
Yeah, the crowd
Um,
would have booed him.
Yeah, and then they'll probably be in the building on Collision. Although I don't know, because CM Punk's wrestling on Collision. So do you put them in the same building? I don't know. Like, and then, well, I mean, they're going to be wrestling Saturday or Sunday, all of them. So they're going to have to get along. Maybe they got separate entrance, separate dressing. Well, I'm sure they have separate dressing rooms.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sure that they are sequestered, or that Punk will be on his bus
Yeah.
or something.
Did you listen to Wrestling Observer, right?
Mhm.
Dave had a line that he I don't know if he meant to say it, but he said it because I rewound it to make sure I heard what I heard. He was talking about the Elite possibly leaving. If like, and he says, I don't know, maybe the Elite leave. And then he said, and he was talking about CM Punk, and he says, and I'm sure that's what he wants. And he's like, and then he didn't correct himself. He didn't go back. He just kind of moved on and just started talking about something else. But I was surprised to hear him say that, and I mean, it's probably true, but I
wouldn't have said it because it's too speculative.
It's the way he said it. It came off as a little bit more speculative.
Yeah, I know, but if I'm Punk,
Punk hears that. Yeah.
Well, no, Punk doesn't love the WWE, and I don't think he'd wish. Well, he might wish that on his worst enemies, but you never know.
Well, just leaving doesn't necessarily mean they're going to WWE. I know a lot of people think that if they leave, they would go to Japan, which I don't think that would ever happen.
I don't either,
because they don't need to leave to go to Japan. If they want to go to Japan, they can go to Japan now.
Yes.
If they leave, they're going to WWE
Mhm.
or the Indies. And I could see them going. If they want to, I could see them doing the Indies.
I can't. Too much money.
Well, that's it. Like, I'm just saying, if they wanted to, if they didn't care about the money.
At this age, they care about the money.
Yeah, and I think, well, we've talked about this, and we even talked about it on air. I think, like, I think they're staying, but I think there's a chance Kenny goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Hangman, I don't think he's going anywhere. He'd be silly to go anywhere. All right, we'll talk more about Forbidden Door probably a little bit as we get into our show.